Hello everybody and welcome back to Bumptobaby's YouTube channel. In today's video I will be giving you a 31 to 34 week update. I'm going to get this video spun around pretty fast so everyone's who's been following my journey is up to date with everything. Sorry, I'm trying to get myself comfy with everything that's been happening. So at 33 weeks I went for another growth scan because obviously it should have been 32, but it got pushed back because of the scan that I had the 2 weeks before because I can't analyse it properly. So I went for that scan and this was the picture that they gave me. You can't really work it out, you have to kind of know what you're looking at basically. This one might be a bit better. So you've got a little face here, that's her cord. Yeah, it's very squished. Anyway, at that scan he said that she measured 4 pounds and he didn't seem too fussed about it. The snuggifer didn't. It was really nice to be fair, but he wasn't very informative. He said everything on the scan looks fine. He plotted her growth. I asked what happens now and he said, well, if there's any concerns your midwife will look at it and discuss a plan, because they just plot it on a graph and then you go and you get your report. And as I said, she's estimated 4 pounds at 32 weeks and 5 days. And then he said if she was to go full term she would probably be the size of 6 pound born, which is obviously smaller than what Amelia was. So I was like, oh, okay then. I didn't think anything of it, to be fair. I was happy with that. So I went then to my midwife appointment the following Thursday, that same Thursday. So it would have been 33 plus 1. Yeah, 33 plus 1. And she checked my blood pressure and she said, no, I'm not happy with this. She took it 5 times and it was still very high. So she wasn't happy with that reading. She checked my urine and it came back with traces of protein. She asked about baby's movements and I told her the truth about her movements. On Monday she was really active, like you could see my belly doing all the flumps and her pushing herself out. But then since then I've still felt her, but she had been very quiet. She didn't move as much as what she had been doing, and she was a little bit concerned about that. And then she looked at the growth chart of the baby and where they plotted what her growth was the Monday, it started to tail. So she was between the 5th and the 10th centile anyway, but then she started to tail. And she was like, no, this is a cause for concern, especially with your urine, your blood pressure, and the fact that you've got other health issues. She said, so I'm sending you straight up to the hospital. I was like, great, just what I needed. I had a whole day planned Thursday as well, but I had to go to the hospital. So I went to the hospital. To be fair, I was seen pretty quick. I was there for hours and hours. I got there at 12 and didn't leave till 6. But in all fairness, I was quite quick. So they took my blood pressure and my pulse was coming up at 130. So they had to try and manage that. My blood pressure came down slightly, so they weren't too fussed about that. Hooked me up onto the CTG. And baby's heartbeat kept going from 117 up to 170 and it kept spiking. It wasn't steady, and because of how many accelerations it had, they weren't too impressed with her heartbeat. And through the whole of the app, been on it for 2 hours in the end because they couldn't get the thing, didn't meet the criteria. So it took 2 hours, and in that time I'd only felt her once, and the machine had only picked up that she'd moved 5 times, which they said that's not normal in that space of 2 hours. Gave me some cold water, made me do a bit of walking and go to the toilet and whatnot. Still got myself hooked back up on the machines and still no movements. So I had to wait to see a doctor. So they sent me out, they gave me some food and another drink and sent me to wait for the doctor. About 2 hours after, the doctor came and he basically gave me 4 plans in a space of 2 minutes, and I didn't know what they were doing. The first plan was to put my medication to control my blood pressure, which that had already come down. I then asked him about what's the crack with baby's growth, because the midwife did say to make your point known about the baby's growth. So he then said, oh, hang on a minute, I think I need to go find you a bed. I was like, oh, okay. Obviously, when the doctors are telling you that, you're thinking, what's going on here? You then come back about 2 minutes after and he goes, I've spoken to, I think it was the other people you need to speak to, and we're not happy with it, so we are going to bring you back in tomorrow for monitoring for a couple of hours and book you in for an emergency scan on Saturday, which would have been, so I went in Thursday, Friday they wanted me back in to do more monitoring, and then Saturday would have been my emergency scan. I was like, okay then. So he then went off to get me a time for my emergency scan on Saturday. He then come back and said, no, we're not giving you an emergency scan, so you need to be scanned today. And there's a bit of a waiting list, so you'll be scanned and then you have to come back tomorrow. I was like, okay, that's fine. So I went and had my scan. Sorry, I'm really burping. But because it was a Doppler scan, it wasn't a growth or anything. So on the Doppler scan, she said that everything looks okay on there. The umbilical artery flow going from the baby is okay, but going from to the baby is perfect, bang on. But going just under, oh, I don't think you'll be able to see. It's just a little bit off. But again, in that scan, there was no baby movement saw. So she said she's done all the grafts and whatnot, and she said you've got to come in tomorrow, and I'm booking you in for another emergency scan Monday the 2nd of November. So I was like, oh great. She then booked my growth scan to be moved forward from 36 weeks to 35 weeks. So that will be Monday. Yeah, that will be Monday, that growth scan will. And I've got a consultant appointment after. So I will just be nearing 35 weeks. So I presume that he'll give me a plan. So I went back in Friday for more monitoring. They asked if I'd felt baby, and I told them no, not really. I felt her a little bit after I had a bath, but not as half as what I usually would. Put me back up on the monitors. Her heart rate was perfect. My blood pressure had come down, my pulse had come down, everything with me was fine. Everything with baby was okay, apart from her movements. In a space of an hour, she had made 1 movement, and I just had breakfast. They gave me a cup of tea and whatnot, and they were just really confused. So they said that if I have any concerns, to go back, and then they booked me in to go for monitoring Saturday and Sunday, so the 2 days after, up until my scan. So I went back in, and Saturday's monitoring was fine. She was met all the criteria within 10 minutes. She was really active that day. So off I went home, had to come back in Sunday, and her movements were again, I only had 2 movements within the space of an hour. And they're just a bit concerned about her movements, I think. So then she goes, make sure you come for your scan tomorrow. That is really important. So I went for that scan. That scan was yesterday. No, that day was 2 days ago, should I say. And yeah, so this is the picture. Obviously you can see her, I don't know about the glare, but you can see her face, her little arms. I think that's one of the best pictures I've got of her, to be fair. You can really see her. Yeah, the lady who I have had my scans with, she's lovely. I've had her for about the last 4 scans now, and apart from my growth scan, and she's been really nice. But there was lots of movement on this scan, like loads of them, you could see it and I could feel it. She's having a good day that day. And the report says that the umbilical artery, PI, is 0.83. And then it's saying that the RI umbilical artery is 0.56. Again, it's lower, but both far lower than what these are. But she said that it's not too much yet to be worried, and that she's okay with them, and that she will see me at my growth scan. Yeah, and that she will see me on my growth scan the following Monday. So I've got midwife Thursday, and I will be 34 plus 2, and then I have my consultant appointment at 34 plus 5. Yeah, 34 plus 5 it is. And I presume they'll tell me when or if I'm going to be induced. They've told me that if I have reduced movements, I've got to go straight in. But I suppose with her pattern, it's hard. And obviously, I have an anterior placenta. And that's what I said to the sonographer. I said, I genuinely think it's because of where her placenta is as well. I don't think that helps. And she said, no, you should still feel 10 movements an hour. Blah, blah, blah. So it's very conflicting. But I will end this 31 to 34 week roundup here. I'm tired. I'm waddling. I have leg cramps every night, and it's doing my head in. I find if I sleep on my back, I go all dead and numb and can't move. If I sleep on my side, I get cramp, and if I sleep on my other side, I feel like I'm squishing my lungs and my baby. So I can still get a decent night's sleep, but I'm waking up a lot more. I haven't needed to wake up to go to the toilet yet, which it is getting there, because as soon as I go to bed I need a wee, and as soon as I wake up I need a wee. We have started putting out all of baby's stuff and doing the washing and setting it all up. I've done my hospital bags, which I think that video will go after this, but I'm going to edit it after. And that's it all really to update you on at the moment. I will come back with a 34 to 36 update and let you know what I know next Monday. So I will end with what may be my last bump shot. I don't know if you're going to be able to see, but that is my bump. Obviously she's quite, all this here is all soft and squishy. I can proper like grab it. So she is very low. And that's it from the front, and then from the other side. See if I can stand back. Definitely have a waddle, like 100% have a waddle. I can still get up and down at the moment, that's not too much of an issue. My boobs are leaking non-stop, and my heartburn comes and goes. So that is my update. Thank you for watching. Sorry it's a long one, but I thought I'd get it out, get it all up to date, and I will see you in my next video. Thank you for watching, everybody. Bye.